Jujutsu Shenanigans recently added Defense Attorney to early access, and the community has been trying to figure out everything about him. I've been testing and playing around with this character so much, and I'm pretty sure I figured out how to do every variant so far in the game. I also have an idea of what his special may be and how his domain expansion is gonna work. Okay, so let's get into these variants first. So the first attack, as we know, is extended swings, and I'll do this. Right now, if your opponent were to be blocking, all those attacks would be stopped. See, that sucks. So if you do that but press R, you will do a block break, and then you can get into your combo. I wonder if you do that, can you immediately go into that? Oh, you can. Okay, that's really cool. So that's the first variant. It's going to be 1 plus R. Now the second variant is going to be for Justice Served, and it's also an R variant. So the regular does this. Low combo, sends them flying, and if you were to do it on somebody who's blocking, they would block the entire attack. Now if I were to do that but press R, it would actually turn my gavel into a hammer, and it block breaks, and then you could go on into another combo and do whatever and whatever, and it actually gives you an animation that is broken. I wonder how long it stays broken for. Let's try that. Okay, for at least like 1 second, you have the opportunity to attack them. So that's the second variant, 2 plus R. Now, one variant that I didn't know in the last video is actually 2 plus 1, which we know what the normal attacks do, but by doing Justice Served and pressing 1, you will actually do the finishing attack of the first move. So extended swings is this, ends with that attack, right? If I do Justice Served, is that, and just ends with a punch. But if I do Justice Served, press 1, it will slam down. Let's try it right here. So Justice Served. Yep. And that attack does so much damage. Look at this. Now, I do think that's boosted right now because the character is in early access with only 2 moves. And as we get more moves, it'll probably be reduced. But see, the weird thing about it is that it goes in front of you. So you kind of have to do like this. You know, you got to kind of like turn around and look at them. Or you might miss it. Because if I do this, it just misses, right? But if I... Yep. And that's basically what was going to happen to our boy Yuji when he was facing off against Higuruma. Yeah. It's probably one of the most gruesome attacks in the game. Probably up there with like Max Elephant and Strongest of History's every attack. And I'm surprised it doesn't block break. I'm surprised that one last slam doesn't, because it feels like it should. But I guess this character just is a block breaky type character. And honestly, I've been playing with him a lot in ranked and in public servers, and a problem that I'm having is with the blocking. Look, let me try to explain it to you guys. I'll also go on a rank so I can explain it better. But so say your opponent is blocking right here, right? If you do extended swings, you have to do all those swings before you even get the block break. But if somebody were to be blocking and you were to be doing this, they can just punch you and you'll never get to the last part where you can actually block break, like with that part. Honestly, as of right now, I would say don't use the extended swings block break. They just have so much time to punch you while you're doing that. Like, especially if they're blocking that, they could just unblock and hit you. Or maybe I'm just moving dumb, I don't know. But Justice Serves block break is much better because it's quicker and it gives you some stun time, you know? Also, that probably needs to be tweaked a bit because you shouldn't have to like aim your attack every single time, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so now let's talk about what I think the special will be. And I have a short answer and I have a long answer. The short answer is I think it's going to continue to be what it currently is. Now, the reason for that is that Higuruma doesn't have any like signature special that he does in the manga. I've been racking my brain, rereading the manga, watching YouTube videos, watching breakdowns, just really trying to think of what it could be and why it's like this right now. Even though the R will let you do variants, if I press R, it does absolutely nothing. So what could the special be? The main things about Higuruma really is his domain expansion. Higuruma is the true definition of Mr. Potential Man. He has advanced so much in Jujutsu sorcery in such a short time that it doesn't even make sense. It's comparable to Satoru Gojo. He has a curse tool, which is the gavel. It is a tool that he can shape as he wants. He can turn it into a staff, he can turn it into like a whip, he can turn it into a hammer, he can make it bigger, he can make it smaller. Also, well, we'll get into more of this later, it turns into the Executioner's Blade. He can also also swap it between hands. I was thinking like maybe if you press R, you could get like a Mahito type ability. Maybe the hammer could enlarge so your range is longer, or it gives you a different dash, just like his blade dash or his clubs or whatever. Maybe you can make it smaller. Maybe you could turn to a staff. Maybe you press R and now extended swings just to serve and all the rest of your attacks are heavy attacks. Or maybe you make it smaller and now they're all quicker. Maybe that's the way we could play with his special ability, is for his curse tool, because it is something that is malleable and he could change as he likes and swap between hands, which in actual canon would be a crazy ability to have. Imagine a man swinging on this side and then you get hit on this side. Anyways, other than that, I mean, Higuruma is masterful in hand-to-hand combat, but what do you really do with that for a special ability? He doesn't have any special moves, really, honestly. His only major fights are off-screen fights with sorcerers in the Culling games, Yuji, and spoiler warning, Sukuna. And in that Sukuna fight, he was being supported very heavily, and while he did have moments to shine, he didn't do anything exceptional that would be a special move. Because yeah, of course he learned RCT on the spot, but what do I do with that in game? Of course he's able to play around the Executioner's Blade and all that, but what do I do with that in game? You know what I'm saying? That's like awakening level stuff. So really, I'm stumped on what his special might be. I think it will just continue to give him variance at the very least with the other attacks. I know Z did say that he's gonna rework a lot of the attacks, especially the second one, and he's gonna have to be more creative with it, which I am gonna give him some credit, because Higuruma is not a character that has a lot of canon, nor is he a very cliche character that has a special attack that he will call out, you know? So I'll give them some leeway here and let them cook. Just let them cook, believe in them, and they will figure something out. But one thing's for sure that they will do well in is probably the domain expansion. The awakening is already deadly sentencing, and I think this is going to be a very Hakari-like domain. You will not get any moveset as you press G. I think you'll immediately open your domain, and it will be some sort of mini game that will play that will determine whether you get the awakening or not. This is not an explained video, but I'll briefly break it down. I think that Judgment will appear, which is a Shikigami, and I think it will be pretty simple, and it will just deem you as guilty or not guilty. If other people are caught up in the domain, I think it should only choose one person to prosecute, and the rest of the people should stand in the jury, which would probably be really cool to just watch. As the mini game goes on, I don't know if it'll be skill based or RNG, probably a little bit of both. You'll get a not guilty or guilty. Now when you're not guilty, probably nothing happens. I would say the domain just breaks and you move on. But if you were to get a guilty, there should be some probability that determines whether you get confiscation or the death penalty. And probably not gonna call it the death penalty because it's a Roblox game. But if you were to get confiscation, I think you should just take away their whole moveset. You know, take away their whole moveset, domain breaks, and you have your base moveset, and then you could just hawk them down and kill them. Now maybe there might need to be something on top of that even to make it more fair, because realistically, say you got 100 kills and somebody has 10,000 and you confiscate their curse technique, they're gonna run like Sonic and you will never be able to catch them. So maybe it has to be something more severe, like you remove all their attacks and they have slowness, or they can't jump, something like that, you know, and then you could just hawk them down and beat them up. And maybe when you get confiscation, maybe there will be another moveset, maybe there won't be, it depends on how hard they want to work. But when you should definitely get a new moveset is for the Executioner's Blade, and that's after the prosecution determines a death penalty. With that, you should get a whole new moveset that should be based on the Executioner's Blade, which in lore is a one-shot. Now, should your M1s be one-shots? I don't know. I don't think there's any character that broken in game, so I don't know if they should allow that for Higuruma. I think the gavel in your hand should immediately turn into the Executioner's Blade, and you should be able to just go wreak havoc. So that's my best idea as of right now for this character. Obviously, we're just gonna have to wait and see for the next update, which is hopefully gonna be next week Saturday, or this week Saturday. And I don't know, I think Z's feeling really creative nowadays. I think he's let go of trying to please everybody and just doing his own thing, because he dropped Locust Guy, and honestly, Locust Guy is low-key heat. I kind of like Locust Guy, so I hope that he continues to make those base only characters. I hope he continues to cook with Higuruma. I hope he continues to just make the game his creative brainchild that has been working since it started. But if you guys like my ideas and my theories, then you should probably go watch this video where I theorize about which new overpowered character is going to be added to JJS next. So click right here to go watch that. Millz Mafia out. Yeah. Are you in that? It's okay, I'll deal with him. Oh my god, I clipped the shit out of him.